So when Loyalty World asked me to come along, Terrapin asked me to come along and talk about trust for about 20 minutes, although I'm going to try and make it a little bit less than that because, as I mentioned, there's a bar downstairs. I said, well, I could do 20 minutes. I could actually do 20 hours about this topic. It's huge. But as I've got the last slot of the day, I won't go for 20 hours, you'll be pleased to hear. There aren't going to be any charts. There's going to be some great photos. There's going to be some useful information, I hope, some thought-provoking points, and some checklists to give you a clue as to how we at Aviva are tackling the topic of trust. So I'm the head of Global Marketing Strategy at Aviva. And we've been looking at the topic of trust. I think the first time I heard us talking about trust was probably about 4 years ago. And then when I agreed to talk at this conference, little did I know quite how hot a topic trust was going to become, particularly in our media. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm trusting that you are going to listen, that you won't walk out, hopefully, fingers crossed, that you won't heckle me, although it's been fairly quiet, so I'm not expecting that, and that you will find the talk fairly thought-provoking. Why do I trust that this will happen? Well, that's because, firstly, I was told it would happen. Secondly, my previous experience of conferences is that's what tends to happen. And I have confidence in Loyalty World conferences that that is what will happen. So, why should we talk about trust? Well, because trust is a make or break topic. And if the trust is gone, so is your business. Now, in the insurance industry, trust is incredibly important. We're selling a promise to deliver to our customers. Our customers trust us to deliver in a crisis or in their hour of need. And we need to build trust continuously. And we have been for over 300 years. So I'm hoping we've got a bit of experience. Just to talk a little bit about Aviva, so you know who we are, for those who don't know us. You may know Aviva. We have recently changed our name in the UK from Norwich Union. We're the UK's largest insurer, so you probably know that. What you may not know, unless we've got a widely international audience, is that we've also changed our name in Poland and Ireland. You may not know how big we are. 37,000 people work for Aviva, and we have 45 million customers in over 20 markets. And you may not know that most of our revenue is from outside of the UK. So we're quite an international business. And we've got 300 years of heritage and over 200 different brands, which are all now under the Aviva brand. So that's a bit about us. But I'm not here to talk about Aviva. I'm here to talk about trust. So, how many of you recognise this? Hands up. So this is Kaa from the Jungle Book. And Kaa talks to Mowgli about trust. Mowgli the man cub. Mowgli says, "I don't trust anyone, Kaa." But Kaa says, "Just trust in me." Now, trust is very hard to gain, it's hard to build, and it's very easily lost. Financial services continue to be the least trusted industry over the last 2 years, according to Edelman Research. And trust is very easy to lose, as the Japanese authorities will tell you when they had their earthquake in March 2011 and they failed to protect or lead their country. So back to Mowgli. He didn't want to trust the snake. He said he'd been let down and he'd lost faith and lost trust. He was surrounded by man-eating tigers, man-eating snakes, monkeys who wanted to kidnap him, and he realised he could only trust a few people. So hopefully that's got you thinking about trust a little bit and the aspect of trust. But why is trust so important? What is it? Well, the definition of trust is the belief in something in the future that's not yet been delivered, or a promise that something will happen. And it's what we base our human judgment on. So when making a purchase decision, trust in a brand is incredibly important. But where has the trust gone? Current levels of trust are at 47% of people say that they trust businesses. So less than half of the people asked said that they trust businesses. Now, we all sit here working in businesses. That means we're not trusted by over half the people out there. In terms of sources of information, 75% of people now trust new media as a source of information. So social media is becoming really, really important in terms of how we communicate. If we're businesses who people don't trust, if we start to communicate through sources of information that people trust, perhaps that will help us build trust. 63% of people need to hear information 3 to 5 times to believe it. So the premise here is that trust, if you have trust, you can then build more trust. But how do we start with building that trust in the first place? Well, trusted companies are forgiven more easily. They're listened to more. 51% of people believe a trusted company's positive news, but only 25% of people believe a trusted company's negative news. Whereas if a company is distrusted, 15% of them believe positive news, 57% of them believe the negative news. And 70% of people say that they believe that they trust ethical brands more. So we need to look at how we're doing business. Who do you trust? Can everybody just think of someone they really, really trust? The person that you would trust with your most guarded secrets. So, in terms of the most trusted and least trusted companies, some of them might surprise you. Least trusted probably won't. The absolute least trusted were political parties, unsurprisingly, financial services, banks, and utilities. The most trusted companies were the industry of charities, supermarkets, and automotive companies. And in terms of the top 10 most trusted brands, there were companies such as the RSPB, Cancer Research, John Lewis. Anyone here from John Lewis? And Marks and Spencer's from the UK. So when we think about the most trusted and least trusted companies, looking at the most trusted companies and the way that they behave, and seeing how they communicate with their customers, how they engage with their customers, could be a good way to start learning how to build that trust. Hope you like the photography, by the way. It's our new brand photography that I'm using. So what happens when trust fails? Question there. Would you buy a brand that you thought wouldn't deliver? Well, selling insurance, I don't think anybody would buy our insurance if they didn't think we were going to pay their insurance claim. So we have to build that with our customers. Trust fails because of broken promises, lack of delivery, and particularly a lack of delivery in the moment of need. Think about all the services that you use. If they failed at the point of delivery, how would that impact on your work, on your life? So, if that failure happens, how do you get the trust back? Well, trust is a key factor in reputation. I'm not going to single out one example, but just think about if somebody breaks your trust, how long you hold a grudge. How long does it take you to trust them again? It takes a long time, but it's possible. In terms of building future trust, currently, trust is built on operational attributes. But there's a premise been put forward that in the future it will be based on social attributes. So it will be companies who listen to their customers, create high quality products and services, treat their employees well, and put customers ahead of profits. Whereas before it's been about financial returns, innovation and leadership. So the hypothesis is that we're moving towards a society-based trust culture. And the top attribute for shaping those future trust levels is all about listening to your customer. So I've pulled together 5 tips, 5 things that we at Aviva are focusing on, and I thought it'd be useful to share them with you. So the first one is, it's a two-way thing. You have to give trust if you're going to receive it. And when I was flicking through a magazine the other day, I don't normally like to promote my competitor, but Hiscox have a new advert out, and the top line of the advert is, "Nothing is more fragile than trust." They say that the strongest relationships are based on trust, and they always start by assuming the customer's claim is valid. So they're demonstrating that they trust the customer to be truthful and honest, so therefore the customer can trust them. It's a two-way thing. It's a good advert. Our CMO's favourite quote is, "A brand is as a brand does." She believes that integrity in the big things and the small things makes a huge difference. And this is especially important as we move from an operational-based trust system to a societal-based trust system. Number 3 is, let them get to know you well. You might recognise that as a song lyric, some of you. This is where we need to demonstrate through behaviour and create an experience bond. We can do this through honesty and transparency, but we really need to connect with our customers if they're to trust us. My 4th tip is, if you don't trust your brand, why would anyone else? So you've got to ask yourself the question, do you trust the brand that you're putting forward? And if you don't, fix it. Fix anything you're not happy with. And the 5th tip, which is kind of 5th tip with 4 parts, so you're getting an added bonus here, the 4 C's, things to look at. Competence, so be the best at what you do. Complaints, resolve them very quickly. Contact, make sure you've got positive contact with your customers and with your employees. And communications, comms, because bad word of mouth and bad PR can destroy you. So, who is doing the engagement piece right and getting that trust with their customers? Now, I hope you're all awake, and I hope you're going to raise your voice and shout very loudly, because I want you to guess what brands I'm referring to. And it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, so you can shout out anything within reason. How the most trusted brands connect and engage with their consumers. So the first one, what brand gets personal? Close, it begins with an A. Amazon, there we go. People are awake, thank you, appreciate that. Okay, number 2, sell happiness. Coke, someone's very on the ball. Excellent, excellent. Live up to your promise. This is a tricky one. They have passion for the task at hand. They've created a strong corporate identity. They're able to achieve what they promise and have efficiency in their operations. Close, not that industry, but it's not far off. If I say logistics, anybody got any ideas? Close, close. It's FedEx. Well done. FedEx. Stay consistent. One of the most trusted industries. They are in an era when only thing seems certain is change. This company's consistent branding has established the company as a beacon of reliability. Anybody got any ideas? It's automotive. Any thoughts? Consistent? No? Try again. Automotive industry. Come on, shout some car brands. People must have cars. Not Audi. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Ford. Thank you. And the last one, and then I promise I'll leave you alone. Customer focus. So, this company say, when you're innovative, consumers are more trusting because they think you really know what you're doing, you're listening to them and solving their needs. Any ideas? No? I'll give you a very big clue. It's a tick. Nike. Perfect. Thank you. So these were the brands that were put forward as being the most trusted brands that connect and engage with their consumers. And I think you'll agree there's some key brands to learn from there. And I said I wasn't going to talk about Aviva, but one of the things we are doing very strongly is listening to our customers. And I just wanted to share this customer story with you as an example of how we at Aviva listen to our customers. And I'm hoping that the video will work.
Hi, my name's Dave. I'm from Dewsbury in West Yorkshire.
And I'm Heather.
Well, effectively, our story sort of started in October 2007. I went to bed on Wednesday evening.
I woke up at 5 o'clock on Thursday morning and couldn't wake you. Ran for an ambulance. The ambulance came and they took you to hospital and put you in intensive care. Heather
knew that if there were problems financially, it would make me worse or slow down my recovery.
I rang Aviva up because to find out the financial situation really with having 3 children, and the man I spoke to couldn't have been nicer.
Hi, my name's Mike. I work for Aviva in Leeds. I work in the creditor claims unit. A couple of years ago I was handling a claim for a customer of ours on his payment protection policy. I had a phone call from his wife who was quite clearly distressed. Her husband had been taken to hospital. Tried to reassure her, that we'll take care of the finances, trying to alleviate some of the worry there because clearly she had enough to worry about with her husband being in intensive care.
When I actually fortunate. I was very fortunate enough to make a full recovery. I made it my intention to actually ring Aviva and to speak to Mike. The most important thing to Mike, first of all, was how are you? How are you doing? Are you feeling better? How's Heather? Everything first is about the person. It wasn't a case of I'm dealing with a customer now, he's on the phone now, let's get rid of him. He was a guy who was prepared to listen. And for me, that is the art of good customer relations, listening.
You know, in this particular job, you've got to show a great degree of empathy because the reason people are calling to us, you know, it's very personal to them. Payment protection claims, you know, people are off work due to sickness, accident or unemployment. In Mr. Jewett's case, it was sickness and quite a severe sickness as well. But you're also dealing with their finances, you know, something that's you know, really important to them. You need to make sure that you're really there for them as much as you can be.
If he was here today, I know that Heather would be extremely grateful, but probably quite upset.
I think you get the biggest dog and kids,
yes,
basically.
I've got 3 great kids, a wonderful wife, and everything's just there for living, and that's what we're doing.
The importance of listening to your customer. So I just want to leave you with one final thought. They say you should never trust a man that says, trust me. So do you trust a brand that says, trust me? Whilst we're trying to build trust, I don't think we should go around shouting about it. Thank you for listening.